Hey there, I'm
Sapphire, Merrick.
and this time the movie in question is Man Up from 2015.
You can do this.
The central premise of this film is that Simon Pegg is not the main character. She is, but he's set up to meet a blind date because they both and the way they're going to recognize each other is they both have read this book, 6 Billion and Count People and You or something like that. A self-help book basically under a clock tower. But Lake Bell's character meets the other girl on the train, and she's like, you should really read this book. And basically Lake Bell falls asleep on the train, and then as a result gets the book and winds up where she's supposed to meet the guy. And being kind of overwhelmed by the situation, she's just kind of like, yeah, I'm your date. And then it proceeds from there.
What are you waiting for?
I am.
A Simon Pegg film starring him and Lake Bell. And this I would probably say, one of my favorite movies of 2015, even though I didn't see it in 2015. I just saw it recently, but I've seen it twice in the span of a month, in the span of 30 days. And this is a great movie. This is a great example of a romantic comedy, the kind of romantic comedy I actually like. Now, there are movies like The Holiday, for example, and other stupid-ass movies like that I think are just dumb. They say very questionable things about relationships, and if you need a list: High Fidelity, Definitely Maybe, Serendipity, IQ, I Could Never Be Your Woman. Those are the kind of romantic comedies I like. The ones I don't particularly like, I can't even think of that many off the top of my head, but that's definitely an example, is that movie, The Holiday. Anyway, that was a digression. This is a great movie. This chick, I hadn't heard of her before this film, but she's amazing. She is so natural. I didn't even know, apparently. I watched the special features. She's not even British. She's American. They had a dialogue coach, and she just did an accent. Apparently, that's her thing. She does accents all the time. But not only that, there's so many little moments that just work so well. First of all, her and Simon Pegg. This is also kind of a weird movie. Usually Simon Pegg is kind of fairly confident in the roles he plays. This one, he's more vulnerable, and I think it works well for him. There's one scene in this that I think takes this from being a good movie to a great movie. And it's the scene where there's this very intimate moment between the two of them in a toilet stall, cubicle. And it's just the vulnerability of it, and the fact that she comes in this sort of awkward moment to help him, to have him feel better. It's really powerful, and just all the way they interact, and they both have just these little moments, these little expressions and stuff that is evidence that they're really good actors, and also just parts of really good writing. For an example, there's a part where it's when they're mad at each other, and he goes idiot, and she goes idiot. And it's great because it also happens later in the movie, but it has different context the way it's said. She's agreeing with him pretty much, yeah, I'm an idiot, for lying to you. But yeah, it's just this movie, by the end of it, you just feel so good. Her character is really, I want to see more stuff she's in. She's great. Her character in this. The movie was written, by the way, by Tess Morris and directed by Ben Palmer. Don't know either of those people. Maybe they've done a lot of movies, but this was, ultimately her character. She's not she's a person, she's not just a bitch all the time or something, or happy all the time or whatever. She's not like that. And I think that's what makes her, oh shit, I just realized, I think the girl who was in this, who's the other girl, I think she was the girl who was in Up in the Air. Maybe. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, it's funny, it's uplifting, which is what this kind of romantic comedy should be. You get to the end, you're like, man, I feel really good. That really cheered me up. The two leads are so charismatic and charming. As I said, Simon Pegg has been through some shit, his character in this movie, and he's been through some shit, and it really, that vulnerability shows, and I think that's it's good, it's been a bit of a while since I've seen his other movies, but he's usually more of a kind of confident guy, but it really shows that a divorce is the main thing here that's really gotten to him, and I think that's powerful. You can tell when you watch this movie. It's beautiful looking, by the way. A lot of effort went into it, and it feels like a real relationship or a real like encounter that these people are going through. Like there's also a fairly weird character. He's amusing. I don't know if I'd say he's funny, but like he's like kind of the creepy ex-boyfriend or the creepy admirer, I guess. Not a boyfriend, an admirer. And he shows up a fair amount because, you know, he's all weird and shit. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to really... It's not, you know, I said in a previous review that it's like a kind of thing I like movies that you can like read into. This is one that I can read into in the sense of like me being a big film nerd. I could analyze that scene in the bathroom like from all different kinds of perspectives, and just like how the writing is really good, and you know, the way everything is sort of like contrived, as they say in this making of, so that they stay together for longer periods of time, even when they're like mad at each other. The back and forth, the dynamics of like when she decides to help him, other kinds of stuff. And this may sound kind of weird, but I like the frankness of Lake Bell's character. The fact that she like is this fun girl and like has these, you know, talks about like sex and stuff. Like, I'm not saying that like, you know, that may come across as like sexist or something, but like, I don't know, her character was refreshing to me. It's hard to really put into words why I think that is, but like there was just something about her that like I was glad to see. I mean, I think for one thing, it's just the fact that she, you know, she's willing to, she's not just like headstrong all the time. Like she admits pretty right, you know, when it's necessary that she fucked up, or like that she's been like being kind of a dick to, or you know, moments where like that scene in the toilet is basically her saying like, wow, I've been kind of a dick to this guy. Like, I should try to help him feel better. Like, he's been through some shit. Again, it's just that this vulnerability between these two people coming together and like bracing each other. It's powerful. And I think it's a pretty good, you know, I think it's a powerful movie for that. Again, you know, if you don't like romantic comedies, don't watch it because you're not going to fucking like it, you know, but if you're into those kind of movies, if you're into the kind of movies I listed at the beginning, you know, Serendipity or fucking, you know, stuff like that, Serendipity, High Fidelity, you know, stuff like that, I think you'll find it to be a pretty good movie. I did, you know, and I think, I mean, Simon Pegg, I think, is awesome. You know, Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz and everything are great. And I think that this Lake Bell, I should really find out what else she's been in. I just found this on Netflix. Like, so you can watch instantly if you want. But I just found this and I was just like, oh, Simon Pegg. I like Simon Pegg. Let's watch this. And then I liked it so much I fucking bought it. I think that's all the recommendation you need. This is a great movie. It's a great romantic comedy. And that's what I say before I take a drink. Dead sister. This has been
Sapphire Merrick.
PXKM Productions, signing out.
You need to man up, Nancy.
Never looking in the